thought they weren't going to let anybody videotape during the performance. How did you get to do this?
I guess that's how you did 10 minutes.
They asked me to.
Pardon?
They asked me.
Oh, they asked you to. Good.
Yeah, I got a great
Go right ahead.
It's about 15 minutes.
And we'll edit out all the footage here where put it at the
opportunity of meeting you.
That certainly seems a satisfactory explanation, does it not?
Yes, dear, but only if you believe him.
I don't, but that does not interfere with the wonderful beauty of this answer.
Oh, quite true. In matters of grave importance, style and not sincerity is the vital thing. Mr. Watson, what explanation can you offer me for pretending to have a brother? Was it in order that you might be able to come up and see me as often as possible?
Can you doubt it, Miss Fairfax?
I've the greatest doubts upon the subject, but I intend to crush them. Oh, their explanations appear to be satisfactory enough, especially Mr. Worthing's.
I'm more than content with what Mr. Moncrief said. His voice alone inspires absolute credulity.
Then do you think we should forgive them?
Yes. I mean, no.
Oh, quite true. There are principles at stake here that one simply cannot surrender. Which one of us will tell them? The task is not a pleasant one.
Could we not both speak at the same time?
What an excellent idea. I nearly always speak at the same time as other people. Will you take the time?
Certainly.
Your Christian names are still an insuperable barrier. That is all.
Our Christian names? Is that all? But we are going to be Christian this afternoon.
For my sake, you are willing to do this terrible thing.
I am.
You are ready to face this fearful ordeal?
I am.
Oh, how absurd to talk of the equality of the sexes. Where questions of self-sacrifice are concerned, men are infinitely beyond us.
We are. Darling.
Darling, lay it back now.
Good heaven, Gwendolyn.
Really? That I am engaged to be married to Mr. Worthing, Mamma.
Sit over there immediately.
Mr. Worthing?
You will clearly understand that all communication between yourself and my daughter must cease immediately from this moment.
I am engaged to be married to Gwendolyn, Lady Blackwell.
You are nothing of the kind, sir. Algernon. Algernon.
Yes, Aunt Augusta.
May I ask, is this the house that your invalid friend Mr. Bunbury resides?
Oh, no. Bunbury doesn't live here. Bunbury is somewhere else at present. In fact, Bunbury is dead.
When did he die?
Well, I killed Bunbury this afternoon. I mean, Bunbury died this afternoon.
What did he die of?
Bunbury was quite exploded.
Exploded? Was he the victim of a revolutionary outbreak?
My dear Aunt Augusta, I mean, Bunbury was found out. The doctors found out that Bunbury could not live. So, Bunbury died.
Now that we've finally got rid of this Mr. Bunbury, may I ask you, Mr. Worthing, who is this young person whose hand is now holding my nephew's in what seems to me a particularly unnecessary manner?
That is Miss Cecily Cardew, my wife.
I'm engaged to be married to Cecily, Aunt Augusta.
Pardon me.
Mr. Moncrief, I'm engaged to be married, Lady Bracknell.
Indeed. I think some preliminary inquiry on my part would not be out of place. Mr. Worthing, is Miss Cardew at all connected with any of the large railway stations in London?
Miss Cardew is the granddaughter of the late Mr. Thomas Cardew of 149 Belgrave Square, SW, Jervis Park Docking, Surrey, and the Sportinghamshire NB.
That sounds not unsatisfactory. 3 addresses always inspire confidence, even in tradesmen. But what proof have I of their authenticity?
I have carefully preserved the court guides of the period. They're open to your inspection, Lady Bracknell.
I have known strange errors in that publication.
Miss Cardew's family solicitors are Messrs. Mockbee, and Mockbee.
Mockbee! A firm of the highest position in their profession.
I also have in my possession, you'll be pleased to hear, certificates of Miss Cardew's birth, baptism, whooping cough, registration, confirmation, vaccination, and the measles, both the German and the English variety.
Well, I've crowded with incident, I see. Though perhaps somewhat too exciting for a young girl. Come, Gwendolen. The time approaches for our departure. We have not a moment to lose. As a matter of form, Mr. Worthing, I had better ask you if Miss Cardew has any fortune.
Oh, about £130,000 in the funds. That is all. Goodbye, Lady Bracknell. So pleased to have seen you.
A moment, Mr. Worthing. £130,000 and in the funds. Miss Cardew seems a very attractive young lady, now that I've looked at her. Come here, dear. Pretty child. Your dress is sadly simple, and your hair seems almost as nature might have left it. But we can soon alter all that. There are distinct social possibilities in Miss Cardew's profile.
Miss Cardew is the prettiest, dearest, sweetest girl in the whole world. And I don't care 2 pence about social possibilities.
Never speak disrespectfully of society, Algernon. Only people who can't get into it do that. I suppose I must give my consent.
Thank you, Aunt Augusta.
Cecily, you may kiss me.
Thank you, Lady Bracknell.
You may also address me as Aunt Augusta for the future.
Thank you, Aunt Augusta.
The marriage, I think, had better take place quite soon.
Thank you, Aunt Augusta.
Thank you, Aunt
To
Augusta.
speak frankly, I'm against long engagements. They give people the opportunity of finding out each other's character before marriage, which I think is never advisable.
I beg your pardon for interrupting, Lady Bracknell, but this engagement is quite out of the question. I am Miss Cardew's guardian, and she cannot marry without my consent until she comes of age. That consent I absolutely decline to give.
Upon what grounds, may I ask? My nephew is an extremely, I almost might say, ostentatiously eligible young man. He has nothing, but looks everything. What more can one desire?
It pains me very much to speak frankly to you, Lady Bracknell, about your nephew, but the fact of the matter is, I've not proved all of his moral character. I suspect him of being untruthful.
Untruthful? My nephew Algernon, impossible! He was at Oxford.
I fear there can be no possible doubt about the matter. This afternoon, during my temporary absence in London, on an important question of romance, he obtained admission to my house under the false pretense of being my brother. Under an assumed name, he drank, I've just been informed by my butler, an entire pint bottle of my Perrier Jouet Brut 89, and wine I was specially reserving for myself. Continuing his disgraceful deception, he succeeded in the course of the afternoon in alienating the affections of my only ward. He subsequently stayed to tea and devoured every single muffin. And what makes his conduct all these more heartless is that he was perfectly well aware from the first that I have no brother, that I never had a brother, and that I don't intend to have a brother, not even of any kind.
Mr. Worthing, after careful consideration, I have decided entirely to overlook my nephew's conduct to you.
Oh, that is very generous of Lady Bracknell. My own decision, however, is unalterable. I decline to give my consent.
Come here, dear. How old are you?
Well, I'm really only 18, but I always admit to 20 at evening parties.
You are perfectly right in making some slight alteration. 18, but admitting to 20 to evening parties. Well, it will not be long before you become of age. So I don't think your guardian's consent is, after all, a matter of importance.
Fred, excuse me for interrupting again, Lady Bracknell, but it is only fair to tell you that according to the terms of her grandfather's will, Miss Carter does not legally come of age till she is 35.
That does not seem to me to be a grave objection. 35 is a very attractive age. A London society is full of women of the highest birth who have, of their own free choice, remained 35 for young. That would be a large accumulation of property.
Algy, could you wait for me till I was 35?
Of course I could, Cecily. You know I could.
Yes, I felt instinctively that you would. But I couldn't wait all that time.
But Cecily...
My dear Mr. Worthing, as Miss Cardew states positively that she cannot wait until she is 35, a remark which I am bound to say seems to me to display a somewhat impatient nature. I would beg of you to reconsider your decision.
But it is entirely in your own hands. The moment you consent to my marriage with Gwendolen, I will most gladly allow your nephew to form an alliance with my ward.
That is not the destiny that I propose for Gwendolen. Algernon, of course, can choose for himself. Come, Gwendolen, we have missed 5, if not 6 trains. To miss any more might expose us to comment on the platform.
Everything is quite ready for the christening.
The christening, sir? Is that not somewhat premature?
Yes, expressly desire for immediate baptism.
At their age, the idea is grotesque and irreligious. Algernon, I forbid you to be baptized. I will not hear of such excesses.
Am I to understand that there are to be no christenings at all this afternoon?
I don't think that as things are now, it will be much practical value to either of us, Dr. Chasuble.
I am grieved to hear such sentiments from you, Mr. Worthing. They say about the heretical views of the Anabaptists, views I have completely refuted in 4 of my unpublished sermons. But as your present mood seems to be one peculiarly secular, I will return to the church at once. I have just been informed by my pew opener that for the past hour and a half, Miss Prism has been waiting for me at the vestry.
Miss Prism? Did I hear you mention Miss Prism?
Yes, Lady Bracknell, I am on my way to join her.
Pray, allow me to detain you for a moment. Is this Miss Prism? A female of the repellent aspect, remotely connected with education.
She is the most cultivated of ladies, and the very picture of respectability.
It is obviously the same person. May I ask, what position does she hold in your household?
Miss Prism, Lady Bracknell, has been for the last 3 years Miss Carter's esteemed governess and valued companion.
In spite of what I hear of her, I must see her at once. Let her be sent for.
She approaches, she is mine.
I was told you expected me in the vestry, dear Canon. I've been waiting for you there for an hour and 3/4.
Prism! Come here, Prism. Prism, where is that baby? 28 years ago, Prism, you left Lord Bracknell's house in charge of preambulator, which contained a baby of the male sex. You never returned. A few weeks later, the preambulator was found at midnight, standing alone in a remote corner of Bayswater. It contained the manuscript of a 3-volume novel of more than usually revolting sentimentality. But the baby was not there. Prism! Where is that baby?
Lady Bracknell, I admit with shame that
day you mentioned, a day forever branded in my memory. I prepared as usual to take the baby out of its perambulator. I had also with me a somewhat old but capacious handbag in which I intended to place the manuscript of the work of fiction I had written during my few unoccupied hours, in a moment of mental abstraction, for which I can never forgive myself. I placed the manuscript in the bassinet and the baby in the handbag.
Yes, but where did you deposit the handbag?
Don't ask me, Mr. Worthy.
Miss Prism, this is a matter of no small importance to me. I insist on knowing where you deposited that handbag that contained an infant.
I left it in the cloakroom of one of the larger railway stations in London.
What railway station?
Victoria. A bright and mine.
I must retire to my room for a moment. Gwendolyn, wait here for me.
If you are not too long, I shall wait here for you all the rest of my life.
What do you think this means, Lady Ragnar?
I dare not even suspect, Dr. Chasuble. I need hardly tell you that in the position and families of my position, strange coincidences are not supposed to occur. They are hardly considered a thing.
Oh, the suspense is terrible. I hope it will last.
Is this the handbag, Miss Prism? Examine it carefully before you speak. The happiness of more than one life depends upon your answer.
It seems to be mine. Yes, here is the injury it received from the upsetting of a gower sweet omnibus in younger and happier days. Oh, and the stain on the lining caused by the explosion of a temperance beverage. That incident occurred in Leamington. Oh, and here, on the lock of my initials. Oh, I forgot that in an extravagant mood I had them placed there. The bag is undoubtedly mine. I'm so happy to have it unexpectedly restored to me. It has been a great inconvenience not having it all these years.
Miss Prism, more is restored to you in this handbag. I was the baby you placed in it.
You?
Yes, mother!
Mr. Worthy, I am unmarried.
Unmarried? I do not deny that it's a serious blow. But after all, who has the right to cast a stone against one who has suffered? I forgive you, mother!
Oh, there is some slight error, Mr. Worthy. There is the woman who can tell you who you really are.
Take it back, no? I hate to seem inquisitive. Would you kindly inform me who I am?
You are the son of my poor sister, Miss Moncrief, and consequently Algernon's elder brother.
Algernon's elder brother? I knew I had a brother! I always said I had a brother! Cecily, how could you ever doubted that I had a brother? Dr. Chasuble, my unfortunate brother! Yes, my unfortunate brother! Gwendolyn, my unfortunate brother! Algy, you young scoundrel, you have to treat me with more respect in the future. You have never behaved to me like a brother and all your life.
No, not till today. I tried my best, I'll go out of practice.
Lionel! But what own are you? What is your Christian name now that you have very suddenly become someone else?
Good heavens, I had quite forgotten that point. Your decision on the subject of my name is irrevocable, I suppose.
I never change, except of course in my affections.
What a noble nature you have, Gwendolyn.
Then the question had better be cleared up at once. Aunt Augusta, at the time when Miss Prism left me in the handbag, had I been christened already?
Every luxury that money could buy, including christening, had been lavished on you by your fond and doting parents.
Then I was christened, that is settled. Now, what name was I given? Let me know the worst.
Being the eldest, you are naturally christened after your father.
Yes, but what was my father's Christian name?
At the present moment, I can't recall what the general's name was. I have no doubt he had. When he was eccentric, I admit, but only in later years.
Algy, can't you recollect what our father's Christian name was?
My dear boy, we were never on speaking terms. He died before I was a year old.
His name would appear in the army list of the period, I suppose, Aunt Augusta.
The general was essentially a man of peace, except in his domestic life. But I have no doubt that he lived behind any military directorate.
The army list of the last 40 years are here. These delightful records should have been my constant study. And generals, Malcolm, Moxburn, Megley, what ghastly names they have. Mockbee, Mixby, Mobs, Moncrief, Lieutenant 1840, Lieutenant Colonel, General 1869, Christian names. Ernest John! I always told you, Gwendolyn, my name was Earnest, didn't I? It is Ernest after all. Gwendolyn, it is a terrible thing for a man to find out quite suddenly that all his life he has been speaking nothing but the truth. Can you forgive me?
Of course I can, for I feel you are sure to change.
My own
Letitia.
Frederick.
Cecily.
Alfred.
Gwendolyn.
Alice.
Miriam.
Anna.
My nephew, you seem to be displaying signs of triviality.
On the contrary, Aunt Augusta. I've now realized, for the first time in my life, the vital importance of being earnest.
There's Annie.
Only because I wanted to use the floor. It's more unusual. Like, I couldn't get to the floor.
Good job.
Good job.
A balloon for me?
Hey, Carl, good going. Here.
I was next.
I want you to like with your photos running around in the sleeping.
It's unbelievable.
You don't return my
When's
call.
gonna take care of her?
I haven't gotten any requests.
Not for a while.
We're talking this week.
Fine.
I stopped calling, that's why.
Katie, don't tell me. You have to be
Tell
talking
her.
like.
Tell her.
I know, I ain't never done stuff, man.
Jerome, have you lost your pen yet? Did you lose the pen yet?
Alright,
Tu as perdu le stylo?
where'd you get it, I wonder?
Oh my god.
It's been you're forced to wear my dad's stuff. You're forced to wear my dad's clothes.
Hey, Co, at least he can wear my pants. They're not too long for him, you know?
Yeah, really.
They're way too long for me.
Yeah, you're not much taller than this guy here.
That's right.
Thanks for coming here.
Very good, Reverend. Excellent.
Yeah.
Hi, Paul. Good show.
Oh, thank you so much. I know, I've got so many laser, but like,
This is for you. Good show.
Quasimodo.
Who else is in this? Okay. Go on. Right, got Andrew.
My brother.
No, cool, yeah, thanks.
Okay. Got one. Thank you, right. Bye.
I'd like to think you should point me out in school.
Sorry, who else was in the first room?
Yeah.
Oh, where's Jessica?
Yeah.
No, Jessica's out here.
You do. Nice haircut. Looks good. Looks really good.
That test is so hard. You always stay focused.
It is.
Just like,
Oh, so boring. CJ, thanks for coming.
I'll come back to your place and we'll watch it.
Okay, good.
Then we taped a Connors match. There was a Connors match after the.
Oh, yeah, like the new one. Oh, she's probably busy. What?
Where'd Kim get to?
Yeah, good.
He's still
You can call
inside
speak and
there.
do something. That's right, I figured some order.
She's right there. She's taking all her pins out of her hair. Like we really care.
It's part of MPSA, but it's dramatic literature. It's like you study like plays and like that kind of stuff.
Feel better. I'm organized.
Oh, it's just good fun, you know? Yeah. I've just somebody playing a lot of kind of stuff. Getting good. Thank you. Got to be clear.
Oh, let it go.
Dad, you're nuts. What are you doing that for?
Oh, just because it was a great show. Enjoyed it.
You just want to